Okay, we have talked about zeros of a polynomial, and also we talked about different types of polynomial. Now suppose they give us a polynomial and then they are asking us to find out the zeros of this polynomial. Now before coming into this like solving or the method of finding out the polynomial, it is important for us to understand how many zeros of the polynomials are there. Suppose they have given us a polynomial px and they are asking us to find out the number of the zeros in here. Now this polynomial may have one zero, it may have two zeros, it may have three zeros, depending on some condition. So let us look at this condition. Suppose in general I am taking this polynomial a0 x to the power n plus a1 x to the power n minus 1, and it goes on. Now if you notice in here, what is the degree of this polynomial? The degree of this polynomial is n. Okay, so basically this particular polynomial will have n zeros. So if I have a linear polynomial, the degree of a linear polynomial is 1. So a linear polynomial has 1 0. If I have a quadratic polynomial, the degree of a quadratic polynomial is 2, so it will have 2 zeros. Cubic polynomial will have 3 zeros, so it continues in this way. So now, since as I told you, we are focusing on polynomials with single variables only, and also we'll be focusing more on quadratic polynomials where the degree is 2. So for a quadratic polynomial, I'll be having 2 zeros. So what is the relation, or what is the method of finding the zeros? So basically there's a relation between these zeros and the coefficient of the polynomial given. So let us take an example of a quadratic polynomial. Suppose my quadratic polynomial is equal to, suppose, ax squared plus bx plus c, and the zeros of this polynomial, so it is a quadratic polynomial, the degree is 2, I'll have 2 zeros. So suppose the degree, the zero of this polynomial is alpha and beta. Okay, I have taken a quadratic polynomial, it will have 2 zeros, and I am assuming the 2 zeros to be alpha and beta. Now the relation, it says like this: the sum of the zeros is equal to minus times of coefficient of x by coefficient of x squared. So I have sum of the zeros. This is the first relation. So sum of the zeros, this is equal to minus coefficient of x by coefficient of x squared. Okay, this is the first relation. So what are my zeros in here? Alpha and beta. So I can also write this as alpha plus beta. This is equal to, what is the coefficient of x in here? It is b. So I can write this as minus b by, and what is the coefficient of x? X squared. This is a. So I have minus b by a. So this is the first relation. Okay, the second relation, it states something like this: I have product of zeros, this is equal to constant term by coefficient of x squared. Okay, so what will be the product of the zeros? My zeros are alpha and beta, so product of the zeros will be alpha times of beta. So alpha into beta, this will be constant term. What is the constant term? C. So I have C, and what is the coefficient of x squared here? It is a. So I have C by a. So these two relations I need to keep in mind to solve certain problems. Okay, so in the next we'll solve problems using these relations. Okay, so we have already looked at the relation between the zeros of a polynomial and the coefficients of the quadratic polynomial. Now this relation or this concept we'll be using in here. So I have taken this question from exercise 2a, I have taken question number 2. Now the question says, find the zeros of the given polynomial and verify the relationship between the zeros and the coefficients. And I have taken this question number 3 from it. So they have given me a polynomial. So my first step in this type of problems is to assume the polynomial. So I'm assuming my polynomial to be px. Basically I'm just giving a name to this polynomial. So I have p of x, this is equal to x squared plus 3 by 2 root 5x minus 5. Okay, now we have already, first we need to solve this in order to get the zeros or the roots of this polynomial. And in the earlier classes we already know how to solve a quadratic equation by using the middle term factorization. So I'll be using middle term factorization in here. But earlier in the earlier classes we never dealt with any question having a fractional part. So it becomes difficult for me to solve this problem because of this fraction. So what I do, I try to eliminate this fraction. And how to do so, I am finding out the LCM in here. Now you look in here, the other terms do not have any remainder, any denominator. So my denominator will be, my LCM will be 2. Okay, I have 2x squared in here plus 3 root 5x minus 10. Okay, what I want to do, I want to eliminate this 2 from here. So what I am doing, I am finding out LCM. So I have this. Now from here I'll take this 2 outside, and how to do so, I am taking common. So I am taking common half in here. So what I am left with, this. I have 2x squared plus 3 root 5 x minus 10. Okay, so this is the polynomial. This polynomial I have simplified in this form. So now I will factorize this portion. Okay, the portion inside the bracket. Okay, so let us now look how to factorize, how to do middle term factorization in here. Now we know, suppose if I have a quadratic polynomial, if I have a quadratic equation of this form, how to do middle term factorization? I need to find two values. Suppose my values are d and e. Okay, such that when I multiply these two values, the product should be equal to the product of the coefficient of x squared and the coefficient and the constant term. And when I add these two terms, it should give me the middle term. So what I mean my d and e should be such that if I multiply d and e, I should get the product of the coefficient of x and the constant term. So this is my first point. The second point, when I add these two terms, I must get the middle term. So I must get a b in here. So this is how I do middle term factorization. So similarly, I will do middle term factorization in here. So let us see how to do. So first, I take the product of the coefficient of x squared and the constant term. So the product is 20. I factorize this. So I have 2 into 10 and then 2 into 5. So I need to use these factors in such a way that I get two numbers which when I add, I get the middle term. That means my intention is to get 3 root 5. Okay. How to do this? This root 5, so what are my roots? My roots are 2, 2 and 5. Now this root 5, I can also write this as root 5 into root 5. Okay, this 5 in here, I can also write this as root 5 into root 5. Okay, so basically my factors, I can write this as 2, root 5 and root 5. Okay, now I will use these factors in such a way that I get 3 root 5. Okay, my intention is to get 3 root 5. How to do so? I have 2 into 2 is 4, 4 into 5, root 5 is 4 root 5. Okay, and then I have a root 5 in here. Now you see, when I subtract, when I take 4 root 5, when I subtract from root 5, will I get 3 root 5? I will get 3 root 5. Okay, so my two numbers are 4 root 5 and root 5. Okay, so using this in here, I'll have So after this step, my p of x, this is equal to half will remain outside. I have 2x squared plus my numbers were 4 root 5 and root 5. So I have 4 root 5 minus root 5 x minus 10. Okay, so what I have done, I have replaced the value of 3 root 5 by 4 root 5 minus 4 root 5. And how I got this? By factorizing the product of the coefficient of x square and the constant term. Okay. So now I am taking common. Okay, first I will remove this bracket. So I have 2x squared plus 4 root 5 x minus root 5 x minus 10. Okay, now I will take common between these two terms. So I have, what is the common term in here? I will have 2x, I have x squared plus 2 root 5. Okay, so when I take common between these two terms, the common term is 2 root x, 2x. So I have 2x in here. What will be left in here? I will have x in here plus 2 root 5. Okay, again I will take a common term in here. Now what is common in here? Okay, we get confused in here. I have root 5 in first term and I have 10. Now 10 can be written as 2 into 5, or I can write this as 2 into root 5 into root 5. Okay, so if you look in the first term and in the second term, I have a common term which is root 5. So I will take common root 5. Okay, so what is left again? I have x, I have a minus in here, so I have a minus in here. So if I take like when I multiply minus and minus, I have a plus. Or in other words, when I multiply this term, this sign and this sign, I should get a minus sign in here. So I am putting a plus because minus into plus is minus. And what is left in here? I have 2 root 5. Okay, I have taken root 5 outside, so what is remaining? I have 2 root 5. So I am putting 2 root 5 in here. Okay. So now again you see, I have this term and this term common in both. So again I am taking common. So I have x plus 2 root 5. What is left? I have 2x minus root 5. Okay, so this is my middle term factorization. Okay, the question is asking, so I have my p of x is equal to this. So the question is asking me to find out the zeros, and I told you what are zeros? Zeros are values of x which will make my polynomial equal to 0. So in order to find the zeros of this polynomial, I put my p of x is equal to 0. So in order to find zeros, I am putting my p of x, this is equal to 0. Okay, now what is p of x? P of x is this term. So this will imply I have x plus 2 root 5, and then I have 2x minus root 5. So this is equal to 0. Okay. Or because this term half cannot be 0, so this implies that this term is equal to 0. So I have x plus 2 root 5 this is equal to 0. So from here I can write either the first term, that is x plus 2 root 5, this is equal to 0, or the second term, that is 2x minus root 5 is equal to 0. Okay, so I have x is equal to minus 2 root 5 from here, or I may have x is equal to root 5 by 2 from here. Okay, so I am getting two values of x, and these two values are the zeros of x. So therefore, the zeros are I have minus 2 root 5, or n root 5 by 2. Earlier I told you the number of roots or the number of zeros depends on the degree of the equation or the polynomial. So in this case the degree is 2. Am I getting 2 roots? I am getting 2 roots. Okay, so there are 2 roots in this equation. So this is the first part of the question. Now again it says I have to verify the relation between the zeros and the coefficients. So the first part of the question is done. I have found out the zeros of the polynomials. The second part of the question it says I have to verify the relation between the zeros and the coefficients. So let us do so. So this is the verification part. So I had two relations, right? I had sum of the zeros. This is equal to minus coefficient of x. So I have minus coefficient of x by coefficient of x squared. Okay, so this was my first relation, and the second relation was product of the zeros. This is equal to constant term by coefficient of x squared. Okay, so these are the two relations given to me. Now let us look. Let us see if this if these conditions or these relations hold or not. Okay, my equation was something like this, right? I had x squared plus 3 by 2 root 5 x minus 5, right? Okay, so sum of the zeros. So I am taking sum of the zeros. So what are my zeros? My zeros are minus 2 root 5. So I have minus 2 root 5 and root 5. So I have minus 2 root 5 plus root 5. So what do I get? I get root 5. Thus my zeros are minus 2 root 5 by 2 and minus 2 root 5 and root 5 by 2. Okay, so when I solve this, I have to take LCM. So I have 2 in here. I have minus 4 root 5 plus root 5 in here. So what I am getting? I am getting this to be minus 3 root 5 by 2. Okay, now is this condition satisfying this condition? This I can write this as by 1, right? Okay, now let us compare this and this. Okay, so what is my minus 3 root 5 by 2? What is 3 root 5 by 2? 3 root 5 by 2, it is the coefficient of x squared. Okay, so this is equal to, I have a minus coefficient of x, and what is 1? It is the coefficient of x squared. Okay, so I have, this is by coefficient of x squared. Okay, so this first relation is verified. It holds. Okay, the sum of the zeros is equal to minus coefficient of x by coefficient of x squared. Okay, so the first condition it holds. What about the second condition? For the second condition, I need product of the zeros, right? So what is product of, what will be the product of zeros? I have product of zeros. So my zeros are 2 root 5. I have minus 2 root 5, and the other zero was root 5 by 2. So this and this gets cancelled. I have minus root 5 into root 5, which is equal to minus 5. I can write this by 1. Okay. So what is this? Let us again compare this and this. I have minus 5 in here. What is minus 5 in here? It is the constant term. So instead of minus 5, I am writing this to be constant term. By, again what is 1? It is the coefficient of x squared. So I have coefficient of x squared. Okay, so we see in here that both the conditions are satisfied. Okay, so I can hence conclude that it is verified or my problem is correct. Now, there are questions which is asking us to find first the zeros of the polynomial and verify. Now, there may be questions which is just asking you to find out the zeros. So, in those questions, this verification part is not needed. Okay, so if the question is asking you to verify, you have to verify, you have to do this step. If the question is not asking you to verify, if it is simply asking you to find out the zeros, you don't have to do this verification part. Okay, so I am doing the next question, which is question number 3 from the same exercise. The question states, if the zeros of the polynomial, they have given me this polynomial, are equal in magnitude but opposite in sign, then find the value of k. So they have given me a polynomial. So first of all, what is the given polynomial? So given my p of x. P of x, this is equal to, I have 3x squared plus 2k minus 1 x minus 5. Okay, now and then they have mentioned that the roots, they are equal in magnitude but opposite in signs. Okay, so they have not they have not given me the roots, so I am assuming my roots. So let alpha and beta be the roots. Okay, and they have told me that the roots are equal in magnitude but opposite in sign. So what it means my beta will be equal to minus of alpha. Okay, now we know from the relations that we have studied between the roots and the coefficients, we know that the sum of the roots is equal to the coefficient of x by coefficient of x squared, and I have a minus sign. Okay, so it means, like in this question, I have alpha plus beta. The sum of the roots, this is equal to minus coefficient of x. So what is the coefficient of x in here? So I have minus coefficient of x is 2k minus 1. Okay, and by the the coefficient of x squared. So what is the coefficient of x squared? I have 3. Okay, now from here we know that my beta is equal to minus of alpha. So I have alpha, instead of beta I am putting minus alpha. How I know this? I am using this. Okay, so if this is my equation 1, I am using 1 in here. So I have alpha minus alpha. This will be equal to minus 2k plus 1 by 3. Okay, so how I am getting minus alpha? I am using from equation 1. Okay, so alpha and alpha, it gets cancelled, so I have 0, so, or 0 is equal to, I have minus 2k plus 1 by 3. Okay, so now when I shift this side, when I shift 3 in here, I'll have 0, 3 into 0 is 0. This is equal to minus 2k plus 1. Okay, so from here, when I shift this on this side, I have 2k. This is equal to 1. So from here, I'll have therefore my k, the value of k is equal to 1 by 2. Okay, so the value of k will be equal to 1 by 2. Okay, so I have, like the question was asking me to find out the value of k. So therefore, the value of k is, the value of k is 1 by 2. Okay, so this is the solution for this question. Now in this question, I got the solution by using the first relation only. Okay, by using the first relation I am getting the solution. Now there are certain questions where we need to use both the relation in order to get the answer. Okay, so in the next class we'll be doing a few more few more questions from this exercise, and then we'll move to the fundamental theorem of polynomials.